I mentioned when we got started that there was I thought that the educational system was, for the most part, almost paradigmatically 180 degrees out of phase. It was turned inside out. And what we're really about here is, if you will, a kind of Copernican revolution in education. I don't know if you're familiar, I think everybody's familiar with Copernicus, but the basic idea was that whereas everybody had looked for so long at the sun and said, geez, it looks like it goes around the earth, so we think it goes around the earth. And Copernicus says, well, yeah, it does look that way, but it explains a lot more, and it would look the same way if we said that the earth ran around the sun, right? And it was such a simple thing, but it turned everything inside out, despite the fact that we still call everything sunrise and sunset. So it didn't get all the way through. But the idea, though, that this one shift in perspective could reorient the way human beings saw their place in things. I think we need to do the same thing with education. That right now, the educational system, again, I think it's oriented as if the capacities for learning are the means and utilities through which we acquire knowledge, skills, and experience. In other words, we put a high value on the knowledge, skills, and experience, and we think of the capacities for learning as if they're the means to do that. But given the conversation we've been having, and given, whether we look at this thing from the child's point of view, or our care for the child, or we look at this from a point of view of the business and its needs, the thing that's most relevant to how well somebody's going to be able to survive in the world and thrive in the world is how well their capacities for learning are coming on, that they're self-extending of their capacities for learning. And that's 180 degrees out of phase. What that says is that we have to switch from this orientation I just mentioned of looking at knowledge, skills, and experiences as if that was the objective and our capacities for learning were the means and the utilities, and turn the whole thing inside out and say that knowledge, skills, and experiences are the means through which we extend our capacities to learn. It's real simple. It's a very simple little inversion. And yet, I ask all of you to think candidly, despite all of our aspirations about a better education system, if not just our philosophy about it, but what pervades our system, what pervades the way that education works, is to place value in the way that I've talked about. And until such time as we switch that, I want to say that we are doing violence to the human capacity for learning by having this thing inverted the way that it is. And that if, for purposes of concern of our children, out of love and care for them becoming more alive and able to survive in the world, or from a purely pragmatic point of view with respect to business, we see the fact that the capacities for learning are more relevant than what somebody learns about, then we have to make this shift.